Hi everybody. I've sent you a couple attachments. These are information on the construction of, maintenance of the Acme floating fence like we have on East Rapp Road. I'm only putting this out just to kind of give everybody a little bit of insight on things such as lintels and grade beams, and when we talk about them, I want to make sure everybody knows exactly what they are. We're going to start in a different neighborhood where they have a floating fence that's newly constructed. This first thing that you're going to be looking at is a 3x3 galvanized lintel. The first one is the street view. As you can see, you can just barely see the galvanized lintel at the bottom, and there is a space maintained between the ground and that lintel. The next view will be the same exact fence. However, it will be from the homeowner's view. Looking at your back window at your fence, you're going to see the lintel as it's supporting the brick. As I said, this is a 3x3. We're trying to find a company that will use a 3x5 to give us added strength in the process of reconstruction. The space at the bottom is required on a floating fence, but with this fence, if somebody pushes dirt or rock under it, it will not affect the wall in any shape, form, or fashion. These panels are 6x12, ours are 6x13. The longer panels that we have, if we use a lintel system, we can use a center support, such as shown in this right here. This would, on our longest wall is 18 feet, so that would make it 9 between centers, and it would support it. The next thing that we have is a thing called a grade beam, and the grade beam was dropped in the slot, and then the fence was built and just dropped down on top of it. There is no mortar between the grade beam and the fence. This was done to add extra support for capping of that particular wall. And as you can see, there is the cap at the top. And the grade beam was a necessity because the normal floating fence like we presently have on East Rapp Road would have not supported the cap system. Hopefully these grade beams are still good. All of our fence has ladder wire between each course of brick. It was not galvanized, and therefore it has created a cancerous effect to all of our walls, as you can see. The Shady Grove side is the very worst, mainly because of the amount of water that is sprayed up there by the sprinklers 2 days a week, 8 months out of the year, splashing from the curb of ice, snow, and rain. So this wall has really been abused by the elements. This is a better look at our grade beam. This one is on North Rapp Road. This grade beam appears to be in perfect condition. The brickers will be able to simply tear the fence down and rebuild right on top of this 3x5 grade beam. This particular side is, as I stated, North Rapp Road. It's fortunate there are no sprinklers over here to hit the wall. It's a long ways from the street, so you do not get the splashing effect of ice, snow, and rains. And this wall has maintained itself extremely well through the years. There's only 7 panels in this 1,000-foot wall that has the iron showing through it, and the cancerous effect. The rest of the wall has some mold and things growing on it. Hopefully we can power wash this wall. This is a quick drive-by of Shady Grove just to illustrate all of the locations that have the mortar popping out, and we know that at some point in time this entire wall will have to be replaced. But I do not see any reason that we should have to put a foundation. If we can use the grade beam, I think we should do so. If for some reason a structural engineer says the grade beam cannot be used, then we should use the lintel system on this wall also, rather than putting in a foundation. This is this is East Rapp Road. I took this video to show in the beginning we had a 3-inch clearance underneath each of the panels. That has been compromised by basically the neighbors doing swimming pools, landscape, planting trees, and that type of thing. If you'll notice as we go down this, looking at the top between each pillar, it's basically still in a level state. The only thing that has happened to this wall is through the years between neighbors watering in the back and landscapers striking the fence with heavy equipment, it's compromised the bottom row, and as the bottom row begins to fall, then the wall loses its integrity completely. These are 13-foot panels. We can rebuild this wall with the 3x5 lintels as support. The 3-inch clearance at the bottom at that time will not be a necessity. It's still best to leave that to allow water to drain, but the support of the 3x5 lintel is going to make a considerable amount of difference. This wall, the square footage is about $18 a square foot to replace, or $115 a linear foot. When the mason goes around the corner, we have some 16-foot panels, we have some 19-foot panels. The price should be maintained the same as I stated, $18 a square foot for replacement, since we're not having to do anything different in those locations. And this wall has maintained pretty good for what it is. Fortunately, once again, no sprinklers hitting it, no road grime hitting it, so that's another reason that it has kind of maintained its stability. And as we go down this street, this is East Rapp Road, North Rapp Road. Just wanting to everybody to see that really and truly these walls are in a great shape. When reconstruction experts gave you the bid a few years back, all of these were stage 3 in their opinion, which they were assuming 5 years before it would need maintenance. I truly believe if we have this wall washed, have it tuck pointed in the 7 panels that need it, and then put a sealer on this wall, it could give us as much as 10 years more of service before it has to be replaced. And when it is to the point where panels need to be replaced, they can be done a panel at a time as needed. So we don't need to come up with a total amount to take care of this all at once. That will buy us time to avoid getting a loan and build money up in our account to pay for this when we think it's necessary to do it. That's the panel that was struck by the auto. It definitely needs to be replaced as soon as we can get it done, just for the neighbor's sake. They've looked at that from their backyard, which is even worse, for a considerable period of time. But the rest of this wall is really holding up well, and it, like I say, it's sitting on a 3x5 grade beam, which is a concrete pre-engineered and dropped in, with a wall then dropped in on top of it. We have been able to find the exact match on the brick, so we do not have a problem of finding something that doesn't match. We've got Acme Brick. It has supported us, and they will make the run for us. That panel we're looking at now, I would just suggest that it be the very first one we do, because it is in extremely bad shape. And then the second panel that needs to be done is the panel behind Debbie. Acme Brick, if they make the run for this, they will hold the brick in their yard for a maximum of 7 years without any charge for whatever mason we decide to use. They do have their preferences of people that they trust better than others. One of the masons that has made a bid on the wall, he also has another storage facility at Alliance. And if it takes us longer than 10 years to get it done, the brick will be there, or if something happens at a later date. And that's the ugly one behind Debbie. And I think we owe it to her and to everybody to get that one replaced as quickly as possible. It's quite an eyesore for the neighborhood. Thanks for listening. Please read those 2 articles that are attached to this email I've sent to you. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me, or I'll answer them to the best of my ability. We also need to get a structural engineer to inspect the pillars and to inspect the grade beam.